Councilman Cefaratti, District 3.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to address Chief Castellucci. If this is to be your last meeting, I want to say thank you for your time and efforts. And I also want to thank you for finding a way to open the fire station on Dunn Road. Our residents were very receptive and very happy to see that. And we know you had a lot to do with that. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping with that and everything that you do. And when you retired, I said this, you're a good man, Charlie. So, and don't ever forget it. You and John, you guys have done very well, and I'm very proud of you guys, and thank you again. I also want to thank Chief Popolarczyk here for the support on the camera on Speedway East 141st. That has been my nickname for it for quite a few years, because you know, we've done some testing and stuff, and the rest of the speeding on that road is absolutely crazy. I think one time we clocked a motorcycle doing 3 digits and that. So, you know, there's times where you need to step up, and this is one of the times that everybody got together, and I supported it. The residents actually requested it, and that request was granted. So hopefully everything will work out, and we'll have a safer street along that way. So thank you very much for that. A couple quick comments on the comments at the podium. Reduction of council was introduced, the legislation. The reason, if you're curious of why it's not on your ballot, is for a charter amendment to be on the ballot, you need 5 votes from council to be on. That issue needs to be put on the ballot. That issue was voted 4-3. So if you look up who voted for what, there's your answer, and who supports what. That's why that's not on there. Also, with the levies, 2 quick points. I'm not going to pound you on this. First, I introduced these because they're needed. I think that it's the most economical way for residents to keep things in the city that we need. It's $12 a month. That's not bad. It's $120 a year. And the second thing is, Ms. Jones touched on it, it coincides with the fiscal recovery. They're 5-year levies. At the end of the fiscal recovery plan, the residents will have a choice again of what they want to do. It's your vote. You do what you want. If you want the city to go forward, you vote yes. If you want it to be in state control, possibly, you vote no. I mean, it's in your hands. It's your vote. You need to educate yourself on the facts and spread the word and go from there. That's what this country is based upon, is your vote. So there it is, right there. I was going to comment on something else, but I forgot what it was, so I'll just end my report. Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony. Councilman Ron Jackson, District 4.
Good evening, everybody. I want to start where Anthony left off about voting. Just a couple of days ago, our Supreme Court again has put some roadblocks in the way for people to vote. It is very important for everybody who votes and who's registered to get out and vote. If you know someone who's not registered, you need to get them registered and make sure that they get to the polls. One of the reasons why we're hurting right now is because we have a governor in Ohio who stopped sending us hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that didn't happen until he became governor. And he became governor because people didn't turn out and vote. And especially in Cuyahoga County, people did not turn out and vote. I too have had people ask me about block watches, and Richard, I will have some people will be there from my district too. They're learning how to do that. I've had a lot of phone calls and emails from people who are disappointed with the cameras. Again, let's go back to the beginning. If you're not speeding, you won't get a ticket. You don't get a ticket, you don't pay the $100. I was in conversation with somebody today. They do a person who has 8 tickets. I mean, when are they gonna learn? I mean, how many tickets do you have to get in order for you to slow down? One of the few times I'm kind of glad I'm not driving. Although I've been threatening me to give me a ticket. Even though. 1.8. I want you to remember that number from now on through November. 1.8. That's what you need to remind people. 1.8. Everybody know what 1.8 is?
No.
It's our deficit. $1.8 million. Now, just like in your personal finances, the way you get out of debt is 2 ways. You decrease expenses and you increase income. So let's see, we decrease expenses. Unfortunately, we cut out recycling. Sometimes you have to give up something that you like for the betterment of the long run. So we gave up recycling, and between when we did that, at the end of the year, we're going to save, I think it's over $50,000 and $400,000 over the next few years. Just keep remembering, 1.8. So we're not looking at just eliminating a council person or 2 salary. I mean, that don't even equal $100,000, but we need big numbers. And that eliminating recycling was one of them, 1.8. So you increase revenue. How do we do that? Well, we had levies fail last November and last May, but we need 1.8. So a byproduct of the speed cameras is, besides safety, and I think the report is that speed has gone down, which means people are safer driving down the street. And we've raised $300,000 plus, but we still need, or we're behind 1.8. So now we have levies on the ballot again. A couple of different levies. You know something I don't understand? We've got an application for a grant for meals. And a grant means that's not our money. Somebody's going to give us money to provide meals to seniors. 1.8. We don't have to come up with that money, but we're doing something good for people who really need something, seniors. I wish Ms. Brown was still here. I wanted to tell her thank you. And I have a kind of a soft spot for seniors too. I also do some work with seniors. I've been doing it for the last 12 years. And I know what the need is. And when I see that we could get free money for meals to give to people who actually need a meal, and sometimes that's the only meal that they have a day, I don't get it. We suspended the rules to do that. We got in trouble in 2 ways because we suspended the rules to do some things and we didn't do it for the cameras. So now we went to do it for this. And the grant has a deadline that we had to do it sooner than later, so we suspended the rules to do it. Meals for seniors. 1.8, remember that number. Some early conversation about leaf pickup and not having the money to pay or having the people to pick up leaves. 1.8. Well, guess what? If we can't pick up leaves, what do you think is going to happen to the snow? 1.8. For sure, we won't have money to pay overtime for people to plow snow, and a lot of snow is normally removed with overtime because you can't get it all done doing regular shifts, so you ask the men to work over. And you have to pay overtime when they do that. Well, 1.8, we won't have the money to do it. These levies are vital to our city not becoming like another city. I don't even like mentioning that name because I hate dumping on a city. Because you know what? Sometimes they say, for the grace of God, there go I.
Absolutely.
Well, guess what? If things don't happen, we might be just like them. Levy's important. You gotta talk to your neighbors. We got some good information. Is anyone back there today? The information on the levies? On why we got to the place where we are? Some good information on that literature. I would suggest that you talk to your neighbors, you talk to your friends, you call people in Maple Heights that you know. We will be more than happy for you to help us distribute some of that information. Give me a call. Oh, one thing. Last council meeting, I challenged the people in this city to send me their ideas for raising income. I want to give you a report on how many people sent me suggestions.
None.
What you get, huh?
None.
Huh? Zero. Now, one person took the time or had an idea to email me to tell me. But they complain when we want to put levies on the ballot. They complain and complain, but they have no ideas. 1.8. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Councilman Brownlee, District 5.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Who was living here in the 1970s? Quite a few. I'm happy for you. You were living in the golden age of Maple Heights. Ever since the 70s, this city's been on the decline. It's easy, you can go back and look at census data and find that out. Cities have been on the decline since the 80s. 80s on, it's been on decline. You tell a lot of good stories about those days. I remember when, I hear a lot. I remember when, I hear from my friends who've lived here that long. The city is not in a singular set of problems that have sprung upon us in the past 2 years. The city is in the same problem it's been in for the past 40 years. You elected us, and I know my district elected me so that we could come up with ideas. That's why you put us in this position, so that we could come up with the ideas of what to do. But you've twice already said, and we've all already said, we don't want taxes. We don't want that to be the solution. Yet here we are a third time with the same idea, not a new one, a same idea. In fact, it's practically a mirror image copy of last year's levies. But you asked us to come up with ideas, and this was our idea, passed by a split vote of 4-3, of how we're going to rescue our city over the next 5 years. This is the fiscal recovery plan that we submitted to the state auditor's office. It has a few years back, 2011, 12, 13, and then it has 5 years forward up to 2018. What we expect our expenditures to be, what we expect our revenues to be. And here at the end of the general fund, we have a summary of how it's all going to work out. In the column for 2015, here's a row that says changes in fund balance. Do you think we're going to have a positive fund change or a negative fund change? Are we going to increase the amount of money next year that we have in the general fund, or decrease it? Some year would maybe have you believe it's going to go down. It's actually going to go up. Next year, according to this document, we will bring in $1.3 million more than we spend. That's an odd story, isn't it? Why aren't we hearing that story? It's right here. You can come and ask me right afterward. It's right here. Next year, we are projecting in this plan to bring in $1.326621 more than we spend. $1.3 million. So, actually, if you go to move to 2016, the general fund will be out of a negative balance. It'll actually be in a positive balance. We're projecting $100,000 positive. That looks good, right? That's before these levies would even kick in. We'll be out of the red, according to this plan, right here. So why are we asking for a levy? This is before the levy. This is before even the traffic cameras. That's not even in here as revenue. Yet they're projecting by 2016, the end of the year, we'll have more than $100,000 remaining, left over. We'll be out of the red. It's their own document. Why are we asking you for a tax increase? In fact, if you add in a couple other things, we'll be able, according to this document anyway, we will be able to bring in $1.5 million more than we spend annually in the general fund. So that's, I think, important in this debate. Why is our plan to address our issues to get a tax increase whenever it already appears by our own documents that we have plenty of money next year, and the year after, and the year after, and the year after? It's right here in black and white. You can come and look at it afterward. I'd be glad to show you. These levies won't pass. Our city, we have already spoken multiple times on this issue. They will not pass. I said this in February, that May, it would not pass. No one here listened. I said we need to have a contingency plan. What happens if it doesn't pass? No one listened. I said, hey guys, our budget that we are looking at right now is unrealistic. We're going to have about $1 million more expenses, and I showed them line by line where they were going to be. What happened 3 months later? Line by line, they were almost exactly what I had said 3 months earlier. You've asked us to come here and provide our ideas. You need to have good information and the ability and the willingness to look clearly at the figures to come up with an idea. What I have told you tonight is 100% true in this plan. Please come and look at it if you don't believe me. But you know what's going to happen to this plan? Do you think it's going to be accepted by the auditor's office? They're looking at it. It's not going to be accepted. I can almost, like I sat here and told you that the Supreme Court was going to demand that we put that charter amendment on the ballot. I said I was 99% sure. What happened? They told us, demanded it. I warned everyone here. Didn't listen. Warned the law director. Didn't listen. Here we are again. I'm 99% sure this is going to not be accepted by the auditor's office. See if that comes true. See if that comes true. Judge a tree by its fruit. Judge wisdom by its children. If we want ideas to get us out of where we are to where we want to be, we have to first be honest with the numbers, and then we have to be willing to sit down and have a hard look at what we're doing and where we really are. 1980 was the peak of Maple Heights. But many cities make a recovery, but it's only when they recognize that they are in trouble and they don't know what they're doing that they can turn it around. We can't continue to go down this road any longer. We've been on it for 30 years. We must change it if we're going to save our city. Don't continue to do the same things over and over and over again. We need to do something different. That's why last meeting I read a letter to you of what I thought were sound common sense requirements for legislation. One of them was legislation needs to come forward 7 days prior to passage. 7 days sounds like a reasonable amount of time to consider something beforehand. All that has to happen is that legislation comes forward the Wednesday prior to this meeting. 7 days of consideration should be sufficient. My challenge is for us to get our act together so that we can even accomplish that. That we can have our ideas set out ahead of time and say, you know what, this is worth considering. I've got my ducks in a row. I'm not going to throw this to you last minute. Please pass it on emergency right now. The world's coming to an end. As long as we continue to do those same things, guess what we'll get? You put the same thing in, you get the same thing out. And we will continue down this path. until we wake up and realize that the people of the city are not going to accept any more belligerency from this council, belligerency from city government, and requests for more money, this city will not move forward. It's now, or really never. We need to wake up, obey the statutes and the laws and the Constitution of Ohio. We need to obey the rules that govern this council, and we need to be honest with the people whom we represent. It's all right here in our own documents. By 2016, the general fund will be in the black without a cent more from you. No one's telling you that story, though. End of report.
I can hardly begin to refute all of the misinformation that you have just heard. It's impossible. Perhaps with the levy money and the money for the operation and the revenue that we hopefully anticipate, which was also in our 5-year plan, we could actually hire more firemen. Perhaps we could hire police persons so that we would be up to our quoted numbers where we should be. Perhaps we could bring back, how about an economic development person who could go out and secure businesses for us? We haven't had one for quite a while now. And other people are trying to pick up the pieces, but we do need those kinds of leadership roles in the city. What we do not need is a naysayer. What we do not need is someone who continually obstructs and demands that we follow that person's rules and regulations. There are council persons here who have stepped up to the plate, who are trying to do as much as they possibly can to give input to the finance department, to the finance person. And I do have to tell you that I do respect their positions, and I do respect their intellect, and I do respect the fact that they have the background, the financial background. Our law director has a law background who is able to judge and give his opinions. They're disregarded often because Councilman Brownlee seems to know more than any of the experts we have here. That's fine, it's fine. But the rest of us, I think, are working as a team. You saw the program last week where questions were given to the speakers. They were good questions. They were questions that were on the mind of the community. This council, with the exception of Mr. Brownlee, pulled together as a team, got the forum flyers out to all of the residents, and they're continuing to work together as a team to bring this city forward. The figures that you have heard just now are totally inaccurate. But you know, if you feel that you're right, you go ahead and feel that you're right. But I think I will go along with the finance director. We are in continual discussion with the state. The state auditors are on the phone, they're on the email, they come up and they have meetings with our mayor and our finance director, and they're continuously adjusting. This comes out, that goes in, this is going to be projected. It's the budget, the appropriations are all very fluid. Something happens, we have to pump that one up. Something falls out, we have to take that out. It isn't like your, I guess, Social Security or your paycheck, which comes in and you know exactly what you get every month. Ours isn't like that. Do you know what your electric bill is going to be every single month? No, we don't either. Maybe your gas bill is the same. Maybe your phone bill is the same. But it's not always that way. So you have to adjust, and that's exactly what we're doing with the budget. So whatever is down here at the end of the table is not accurate. That's all I can tell you. I would like to pat the folks who spoke last week and also give the council, with the exception of Mr. Brownlee, a pat on the back for really putting information out into the community. And I sincerely hope that the questions you have for the cameras, and I'm sure there still will be some lingering, you can come to the forum, or people who have questions. And I've had a few persons who call and are asking for mercy. Please, can I have some mercy? Will you listen to my problem? I can't pay the ticket, and I understand. But these questions can be answered at the community forum on Thursday, October 16th. And again, share the information. Bring your relatives, bring anyone that you think might be interested. So with that, I'm going to end this.
Where and what time?
I have flyers in there. If you want some accuracy, folks, before we end this, the budget is on the website. The appropriations, every month, it's on the website, and you can look for yourself to see where the money goes, where the negatives are, what's going in, what's coming in, rainy day fund, the deficit, all of that. It's on the website. There's a link. And with no further business this evening, this meeting shall be adjourned at, I think it's 8:20. Thank you all for coming.